bestseller Sarah Smith's books are published in 15 languages. She's won the Agatha Award for Best Teenage Mystery, the Massachusetts Book Award for Best Teenage Novel, and numerous other honors, including New York Times notable and various Best Book of the Year lists. She's working on a fantasy with pirates and talking eagles and is delighted by the number of characters she can kill. She lives near Boston, and her Strong Women Strange Worlds job is emceeing the Thursday night readings. Sarah, take it over.
Thank you, Kate. This is from Crimes and Survivors, and it's one of several times Titanic sinks. One of them's part of a movie, but this is the real thing. Our heroine, Perdita, is trying to get Dr. John Church to tell her a family secret her life depends on. And all he has to say is yes, one word, yes. But instead, he throws her into the last lifeboat. Perdita is suddenly grabbed around the waist and swung out into air with nothing under her feet. She bicycles, trying to find a foothold. She's falling. She lands with a jar, bites her tongue, tastes blood. Her boots splash into water. The boat jerks downward. They hit the water too soon. The lights of Titanic hang over them. Someone guides her hands onto something large and heavy, a lug, an oar. A sailor shouts, "Row, row, fast as you can, ladies. We gotta get away. Pull, pull." All the women are pulling frantically at the oars. They tug and push against each other. It is so cold. The icy air sucks the breath out of them, even though they're packed tight in the boat. "Pull, ladies." Above them, Titanic dazzles. Her lights touch the water, and underwater the sea glows green. She has to go back. Dr. John is still up on deck and hasn't told her yes. Above her head, a violin leads a slow, sweet, heartbreaking melody. She can hear individual voices. A man says, "Bless you," and a woman is crying. Someone's preaching, and there was no more sea. She listens for Dr. John's voice saying yes, and then Titanic flickers and dims to red-orange. Metal screeches. A heavy wave tosses the lifeboat. The women cry out. They're still so close to the ship. The musicians stop playing raggedly in surprised off-key wavers. Hundreds of voices call out. People begin to scream, "Pull, ladies!" And the song of Titanic goes out. And the whole world is dark. "Row, row, she's going!" It's dark, but she can hear. Metal moans. A man calls out, "Mama, help me." The telegraph wire pings, whines, whips through the air. The ship shrieks. Huge things roll and tumble, thump and smash, and windows shatter. Every pane vents, and over again. There are thuds around her, like hammers hitting water. A groan like an enormous beast makes the sea tremble. "Got 'em! Look at her stern! It's going up! Row! Row! Bugger you, ladies! Row!" The lifeboat is pulled backward towards the ship as if by a tide. People are screaming, the living and the dying screaming together, men and women, and she's still listening for Dr. John as if he might call one word, yes. "Hold for your life! Row! Row!" And then she realizes what she's hearing. "Mom! Mommy, help!" There are children in the water. Perdita pulls her gloves off her hands and puts her hands against the oar to try to stop the boat from rowing away, but there are too many people rowing. She only bumps up against them. She thrusts her hands over the side to try to stop and puts her hands against the oar to try to stop the boat from rowing away. But there are too many people rowing. She gropes her hands in the water as if one child might be close enough to pull in the boat. She gropes for one drowning hand, Dr. John, her past, her future, anyone, one hand to grasp hers and be saved. The freezing sea tugs her downward. The oar smashes against her shoulder. Her skin goes numb in seconds. It feels as if her hands are being crushed. She has to pull her hands out of the water, moaning. And it is too late. When Titanic sinks, 700 people, here 1,500 people die. Some jump from the ship and are killed instantly, smashing into the water as if they were hitting pavement. Some are sucked down, but over 1,000 people who were on Titanic float alive in the water. Husbands, brothers, sisters, children, for 5 minutes, 10, 20, they are held up by their crew life jackets, unable to drown. They freeze by inches. They scream in pain. They cry for help. They pray. The survivors know their voices, and the survivors have to listen. The survivors huddle in the boats. They jam their fingers in their ears to keep out the screams. In one boat, the men tell the women that the screams are cheers because everyone is safe. In another, they sing a hymn to drown out the cries. Slowly, one by one, the voices from the water die away. Plugged ears cannot keep out silence. The survivors strain to hear familiar voices. They yearn to hear anything. And it is dark. And it is silent, except for the oars slapping the water. The people rowing to keep warm, rowing to have some sound in their ears, a splash, an oarlap groaning, anything but silence. A splash, a murmur, the sound of human life, even a scream. To hear a scream again, anything but silence and the voices only they can hear, voices whispering to them, last cries, help me, help me, don't leave me. How many people die on Titanic? How many voices cry out and then go silent in that hour, in that sea? Long years later, Renee Harris, who lost her husband that night, will be introduced to a completely clueless woman as Mrs. Harris, who was on Titanic. The clueless woman will ask, "And did you survive?" Renee Harris will think for much longer than the question warrants. No. And that's a bit from Crimes and Survivors. Thank you.